head Dead Sea Scrolls project for the Leviticus Authority, and this is Dr. Sefi Porath, who is the archaeologist who excavated the site of Ein Gedi, where this amazing scroll was found. And why did we get together a press conference? Okay? The find that we just discovered with the help of the most advanced technology or technologies is they allowed us to actually virtually unroll a scroll or part of a Bible from 1,500 years ago. Okay? So this Bible was actually found in the ark of a synagogue in Ein Gedi, the site of Ein Gedi, and that is dated to the 6th century CE. Now, between the Dead Sea Scrolls, which were written at the end of Second Temple times, and the Keter HaTzuvah, which is from the 10th century, we had no written testimony of the Bible. And therefore, between the scrolls and Keter HaTzuvah, we did not have any written document of the Bible. And here, from the ashes of this synagogue, this Bible came back to life.
When was it found?
Okay, so we will first let Dr. Porath explain a bit about the excavation, and then we will deal with what we've done. Okay?
The scroll was found in the excavations of unexpected. It was an unexpected find. We uncovered margin of a mosaic floor at the site, which is uncommon on this fringe settlement, and tried to excavate it, find out, probably for an important building. And it come out that it is a real important building, a synagogue of the village. We knew it is the synagogue after 4 days of work when we found a 7-branch menorah made of bronze, which is now exhibited in the museum. And a few days later, when we cleared the debris of the Holy Ark of the synagogue, we found that burnt scroll, and we didn't know what is hidden there, as no laboratory of that time was able to read it. We have to wait another more than 40 years till it was possible with modern technologies, which Mr. Michael is responsible for it, that they would possible to read it, and now we know what that scroll is. As the fragment that is read already,
yeah, this is the fragment. What you see in front of you is a fragment.
What's the size?
It's more than 1:1. It's not this big. Well, you'll see it in a minute. We'll take you to the lab and you'll be able to see it, okay?
it is 5 centimeters.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
And the fragment that was read is from the middle of the scroll. And now it was possible to decipher some of it was possible to decipher the letters. Now some words of it, and from that it was possible to know which book of the 5 books of the Torah it is. It is from the beginning of the middle one, Leviticus, chapter 1, paragraphs 1 to 8, which tell us about the sacrifice of animals in the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. And this opened now another stage of our research. First of all, to find out the entire, what is left of it. I'm sure that the beginning and the end will be several lacunes in that scroll, but we are looking forward to find out what is really found there, and maybe it will be possible to make some corrections of our reading due to the more original one than we have in Keter Ramsova.
Okay, so what happened was that about 4 years ago, yeah, Sefi came to us with this charcoal material, which we'll show you in a minute in the map, and he said, can you preserve it? Now, you know, we have, I think most of you have been to our Dead Sea Scrolls Conservation Lab. Of course, it's the Dead Sea Scrolls Conservation Lab of the Israel Jewish Authority. And what we're doing there on a day-to-day basis, we're preserving the Dead Sea Scrolls for future generations. Are you still on? And what we're doing is we're using the most advanced technologies to help us preserve these scrolls for future generations. So about a year ago, we decided to try and see if we have more scrolls within our phylactery cases. We have some phylactery cases that turns out that have not been emptied in the 50s. To do that, we needed advanced technology. We tried to do it in the hospital, in Shaare Zedek Hospital. They have a CT, where where you can do
cross section.
A scan, yes, and the results were pretty promising. But then, when David Merkel from Merkel Technologies read about this, he phoned me and said, I have a micro-CT. Would you like to try and use a micro-CT to see if you get better results? And I said, sure. And so one day we decided to go to, this was in Bar Ilan, one of the systems is in Bar Ilan University, and along the way we took one of these charcoaled fragments. And I said, what can we lose? And from all the material that was scanned, so we scanned everything until now has been done voluntarily. Both David Merkel and Brent Seales, who's online. Say hi, Brent.
Hi.
Okay, you'll see him in a minute. They're doing this volunteer. It's volunteer work until now. So what we did was we took the data of the CT, of the micro CT that Merkel produced, and we sent it to Professor Brent Seales from Kentucky University, who with his team tried to virtually unroll this scroll. And what you see this is what you see now is how we scan this, and what you see now is the virtual unrolling that the team, that Brent Seales' team did, and you see, and this actually we learned only yesterday because, this whole story actually, when was it, last week that you sent me the first images, right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
It was last week. And the minute he said, look, I see this writing on it, can you tell me what it is? And so when we saw it, we almost fainted because we saw the lines in Hebrew, but we couldn't figure it out because the resolution was not good enough. So I took it home and I said to my husband, can you better it and tell me what's written in there? And this is how we found out it was part of Leviticus. And from that moment, it was like, wow. So we phoned Sefi and we said, you won't believe what we found.
And I said, wow, too.
And then, but only yesterday, and so we thought we had a scroll of the book of Leviticus, because amongst our Dead Sea Scrolls, we have all kinds of biblical books. But then, when Brent sent, what they did was also work around the clock. Since we told them, look, this is a really big fine discovery, they've been working. His team was working around the clock to bring all this stuff that we're showing you now to do all the virtual opening. And so yesterday, when we were looking at this, we suddenly realized that it's not we thought it was the surface of the scroll, but it's not. It's within the scroll, which means, as Sefi said, we're talking about the Bible. Okay? It's not just the book of Leviticus, it's a Bible within which we have part of the book of Leviticus, maybe all the book of Leviticus, they will have to tell us. And not only that, probably whatever comes before Leviticus, or at least some of it. But this is one of hundreds, I think, or tens of chunks of scrolls that we have. And what we would like now to do is to allow Brent, who's online from Kentucky, to explain to you how he did this. Okay, unless, David, you want to do it first, but David is the one who actually prepared all the data. If you want to say a few words.
Maybe just a fair explanation of the technology of how it's done. So, Penina said a micro CT system is basically the same as a hospital CT system, except it's used for preclinical research. And it does smaller objects, but gives much finer detail of any object that's scanned. What we do is we take the scroll, in this case, there's an X-ray source on one side, there's a camera, special camera on the other end, and we take hundreds of two-dimensional pictures using the X-ray of the scroll. Once that's done, we then do all those hundreds of images to a reconstruction process, which turns that into a 3D model. And using the 3D model, we were able to kind of virtually fly through the scroll, but we still could not see anything. And that's when we transferred all the files to Penina. We actually did a second scan because we wanted a bit more detail. And then Penina took all those files, which are many terabytes, with her to Los Angeles.
Right.
Passed them.
And then Brent came over to Los Angeles, and I gave him all the data. And it took how many? About 3 months, and here we are with the results. So maybe you should put it now on the screen, and then Brent, you can elaborate on what you did.
Okay, thank you, Penina.
Right.
Can you
Okay.
all hear me?
Yeah, we can all
Yeah,
see
we
you
can
also.
hear you and
Hello
see
there,
you.
all of you.
Can you turn up the volume of that?
Smile. Right. Okay. Yep. Great. Okay, go ahead.
So, yeah, thank you, David, and Penina, my team is behind
No,
me.
it's not good.
And it should be said that, of course, nothing could be done without such a wonderful scan that David provided, because that's what contains all the data that we have. We were working only with that data. In fact, I'm jealous of you all because I have never seen the scroll itself in person. We've done all our work remotely, and I think that's indicative of this digital age. The way that we worked is that we have software that allows us to identify where we think every layer is, and then we connect up the identification of all those layers into a coherent whole. And it's the surface of that coherent whole that gives us an idea of if there is writing or not. And when we saw a section that we could see clear writing on, that was when we began work in earnest to extend as much as we could from the data the length and width of that surface so that we could read the actual writing. And I think within the first month, we knew that there were maybe 4 or 5 clear lines. But now, as you can see, I think we extended that to maybe 11 or 12 full lines, which represents about 1 wrap of the layer from the center of the scroll.
And it's the first 8 verses of the first chapter of the book of Leviticus. Which is a lot. We can now construct actually how big a page was, okay, or a column was within that Bible. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead, Brent.
Go ahead.
So we've simply been working to improve our ability to see what's written. And it is tedious. I've had students and project managers helping me to be able to get to the point where we can present you with something that's actually readable, and I'm not able to judge that because I unfortunately cannot read Hebrew. So it was a wonderful week when Penina returned to me by email and said that she was able to read this beautiful text and that it was such a significant text. We've all been celebrating here, so.
Yeah. Here too.
Great. Yeah, so we've also been studying, and especially, I think it's very symbolic, at least for us, that this is this time of year, because next Sunday will be Tisha B'Av, and that's the day when both temples were destroyed. And what's more symbolic about finding, another Bible from an ark in a synagogue that unfortunately was also destroyed. And not only that, in particular, this again, Brent just chose, as he said, a layer. Because he said, wow, we chose the scroll of Leviticus, how symbolic. But no, it's actually his choice is symbolic, because he chose the first part of the book of Leviticus, and the first part in the book of Leviticus discusses all the
Offerings.
offerings, exactly. And so now, and this is, what was the temple about? The temple was all about offerings. And to that, Sefi can add,
We found in the Holy Ark of the synagogue several bones of animals. All of them were sheep or goat, and all of them were slaughtered 1 year old, according exactly as it is mentioned in this chapter of the Leviticus. And it opened many openings. We don't know which way they will lead us, but at least we have speculate now.
Yeah. So we can really tell you that after, as we wrote in our press release, after the Dead Sea Scrolls, this has been the most significant find of a written Bible. And so, and this is just one layer of this whole charcoal Bible that we have.
What percentage has been read so far of the scroll?
Nothing. It's 1%. I don't know. It's like one layer of this particular
Of how many
fragment,
layers?
of this
I understand.
particular fragment.
How many more fragments are
You'll
there?
see them in the lab. There's chunks of them.
For those of us who came late, and there are one or two of us, could you just from the beginning briefly, where it was found, about the synagogue, about the Ark, just where it was all found?
The oasis of Ein Gedi by the Dead Sea is familiar for everybody, I hope. If not,
It's in the synagogue of Ein Gedi. You know the synagogue of Ein Gedi?
When did you find this? I didn't say when you found this.
1970.
1970.
45 years ago.
1970.
And this teaches us. It's from the 6th century. We've also, when Sefi brought this, he
when
said,
it was eventually seen in the press release.
Yeah.
"Oh, you haven't seen the press
Wasn't
release?"
intentional.
No,
Yesterday, only the announcement about the press conference.
Yeah.
She hasn't seen the English version yet.
Okay, he was
Save you a lot of questions.
Sefi, sorry, you found it in 1970, and until 4 years ago when you asked Penina, can you preserve it, what happened?
We tried to read it right after, but no success. All the laboratories who tried to read it mentioned it is impossible to read. So,
Is this technology going to become now standard operating procedure for the Reshut?
We wish, as I mentioned, both David and Brent have done this voluntarily until now. I'm not sure they're going to be able to do this on a permanent basis voluntarily. So as was said in the Hebrew language press conference, we hope somebody or the state will fund this so that we can actually do this work.
What
Because
budget are you looking for?
what budget are we looking for? We don't know yet, but it's probably, I can tell you
it
that.
starts with
Wait. I can tell you
with
that.
technology,
Yeah.
then the separating, and then we can try to compare it to the common
Yeah, but-
Bible.
Yeah, but that,
And this is just for one item. We have several items from the synagogue itself and from the village next to it.
But this is the end product, okay? To have the archaeologists or the historians or the epigraphs sit and do the research is the end product. First of all, we have to be able to unroll this or to uncover it, to decipher it in order for them to do the work, okay? But that, and to your question, you know that our Dead Sea Scrolls, our Dead Sea Scrolls digital library is a multi-million-dollar project funded by the Leon Levy Foundation and the Archaeology Foundation. And because what we're doing is we're digitizing all of the Dead Sea Scrolls in order to put, I hope you've all been to our site, we'll give you the address, but our idea is to put everything online, okay? And so that is, again, a multi-million-dollar project. This is beyond us yet. I mean, we have to figure out how to go about this. You know, how to, first of all, we have to scan, micro-scan all of them. Then we have to send all this material to Brent. How many students have been working on this, Brent?
This year we've got a team of 8.
See, 8 people have been working on this, so it's not an easy task. I mean, this is just like, this is a taste so that we all, try and do it. But it's,
And did you say at this stage everything is voluntary?
Yes. David did this as a gift to us, and Brent Seales with all his students did it as a gift to us.
Why, you feel you touch history, you touch the sources of, I don't know, human civilization? Why?
Ask them, why are you doing it?
Oh, certainly. It's exciting. I mean, the moment I read about the tefillin that was found, and I thought we could contribute something, we just went for it. I must say that we were quite lucky because when you want to detect writing on old scrolls, when you're using this technology, X-ray technology, there must be some contrast to the X-rays. So it must be some metal within the ink that was used to write the scrolls. And luckily we had that, so we were able to detect the writing within the scrolls. Because if we hadn't had it, we couldn't have seen the writing within the scrolls. The second interesting point, Penina made the point of being close to Tisha B'Av and connecting the discovery to the past. I actually would like to make the link to the future because the same instrument that was used to scan the scroll using micro-CT technology is actually an instrument at Bar Ilan University at the laboratory of Dr. Prof, and they actually use that on a day-to-day basis for nanotechnology detection or trying to solve brain diseases and scanning of the brain, imaging the brain using nanotechnology, nanogold body.
But I understand these are two different things, the microscan, micro-CT, and the...
Okay, so now Brent, can you tell us
what
why
I
you did
mentioned
this?
now.
What is Brent's department at university?
He's going to tell
Yeah,
you.
so my leadership at the University of Kentucky, my dean and the president of the university sets up a context like most American universities where we have the freedom to follow promising research. And so through the funding that I already have from Google and from the National Science Foundation, I have the freedom to follow promising avenues. And so when Penina approached me with the possibility of looking at this data, it was an obvious thing to do. We were very excited to be able to take it on.
Is this the most significant find he's worked on so far?
Did you hear that?
Did you hear the question, Ray? The question was, is this the most significant find that you worked on until now? To date?
Yeah, this is the most significant confirmed find for the use of our technology. That's certainly true.
Right. And I must stress, as you asked before, the fact that we did a micro-CT scan of the scroll without having Brent's technology, there was no way we could have read anything within the 3D image. It's only due to the technology that Brent has.
But they're two separate technologies which need one another.
Exactly.
Complement each other,
yeah.
right.
Is his unique or
And
is
if I
there
may,
more?
No, he's so strong. He's a...
That lab
Sorry,
is
go
the
ahead.
pioneering
Go ahead.
lab in that field
That's
in the United
pioneering.
States.
It's pioneering in the field. Yes,
And
he
you
was
give us
Brent, he wanted to say something, Brent.
Yeah, Brent, you wanted to say something?
I just wanted to say that without such a beautiful scan from David that contains images of everything in there, we would not have been able to see anything either. So it's a true collaboration.
Yeah.
And
And
what
what
is-
happened, I can add to that, that the first scan that David did, we sent to Brent, and he said, I need a better resolution. So I went back to David and I said, can you make a better resolution? He said, I'll try. And here it is.
I have a question about the chronology. 40 years ago it was found. You tried with no results to read it. 4 years ago you asked if it can be preserved.
4 years ago we brought it over and said here, because
Yes.
you know our lab has now been working for over 20 years.